There was a great misconception about the falling body in history. Aristotle told that a heavy body falls faster but a light body falls slower. And this was not correct. And later Galileo told that this statement is wrong, I can prove it. And he did a famous experiment in Leaning Tower of Pisa. He dropped two cannonballs, one having more mass, another having less mass. Many times he dropped two cannonballs having different mass. Every time both of them fell together on the ground. And it proved that whether the bodies are heavy or it is light, mass is more or less, both of them falls with the same rate and acceleration due to gravity remains same for both of them. So we can conclude this as the result of the Galileo's experiment. Acceleration due to gravity for every falling body is same, irrespective of their mass. After this much understanding, now I want to tell you something more. If it is so, if a body having less mass and a body having more mass also falls together, then why not a feather and a stone falls together? To understand this more clearly, we must know about air resistance. The reason is actually air resistance. Feather falls later than the stone. The reason is air resistance. That's why. What is it? Now let's talk about air resistance. The force with which air opposes the motion of the body is called air resistance. It means air resistance is nothing but the force. And it depends upon different factors. If the speed of a body in air is more, then air resistance will be high. If its speed is less, then air resistance will be less. Air resistance depends upon the speed of the body. If surface area of the body is more, if a body is moving in this direction and if its surface area in this direction is more, then the air resistance will be high. But if its front part, area of the front part is less, like rocket, then air resistance will be less. Air resistance depends upon surface area of the body. For the falling body also same. And air resistance depends upon nature of the surface. Nature of the surface means if the surface is rough, air resistance will be more. If the surface is smooth, air resistance will be less. After this much understanding about the air resistance, now let's talk about the falling of a body. If a body is dropped from very great height, how it falls and comes to the earth? Let's say a body is dropped from great height here. Then what is found? Every second its velocity goes on increasing. At first it was at rest, its velocity nothing, 0 meter per second. After 1 second its velocity will be 9.8 meter per second. After another 1 second its velocity will be 19.6 meter per second, and after another 1 second it will be 29.4 meter per second. In this way its velocity goes on increasing and increasing. The reason is very simple, because the gravity of the earth, force of gravity of earth is pulling it down. Force produces acceleration, that's why velocity is increasing every second. It is speeding up, and as I mentioned just now, if its speed increases, then the air resistance, which is a force which acts on the body in the opposite direction, vertically upward direction, also goes on increasing. Let's say the body is pulled down by earth with a force 10 Newton, let's say, then the force of air resistance will increase and increase due to the increase of speed. And it increases from 1 Newton to 2 Newton, 2 Newton to 3 Newton, 4 Newton, 5 Newton. And when it falls down and down, after certain time, the air resistance becomes so high that it will be equal to the gravity of the earth, let's say air resistance becomes 10 Newton. Then what happens? The pulling force of the earth, gravity, is neutralized by air resistance. No more force is acting on the body, falling body. If there is no force acting on the falling body, then it will fall with constant velocity. How much velocity it gains at this point? When the air resistance neutralizes the gravity, at this point, what is its velocity? With the same velocity, it falls down up to the earth. It means at first the body gains acceleration due to gravity, that is 9.8 meter per second square due to the increase of velocity every second. But at last it has uniform velocity. And the body falls with uniform velocity on the earth.